welcome to Gamersledge Podcast. I am, of course, one of your hosts, Mark, and joining me, barely clearing his screen, is Matt.
It's way down here. Let's see. Okay.
I thought you were doing your Nimrod impression. Here's my hands. Yeah. No, that's worse. Cute, but worse. We have so much to talk about. Welcome to episode 310. This week is Slay the King Together 7. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to discuss the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Path of Exile, Farm Together, For the King, Slay the Spire, Game of Thrones, Age of S.H.I.E.L.D., and New Japan Wrestling. As if that all was enough. And then there's probably stuff that I missed on your list, too.
Well, a couple things, but, you know.
Alright, so, yeah, Mr. J. Nice says, it's the top of Matt's head. Yes, it is.
It's shiny.
Or an egg. I can't tell. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. So I'm going to start with what I'm going to go first.
What?
Yeah, just because I've got it written down and organized.
That's good because I don't. So
yeah. So this week I've played a heck of a lot of Path of Exile.
I have to say I am amazed you have stuck with this game this long. This is approaching a record for you. This is going to be like.
This is not.
No, I know, but of recent years.
No, this is not even for that. Because Marvel Heroes, I was heavy into until the server shut down. I even platinumed it. It's my first MMO platinum.
Yeah, I guess that one was probably a little bit longer than this.
Yeah, it was quite a while. This is a record of non-bathroom play games. Fun fact, I do not play any games in the bathroom. Because when you're in the bathroom,
Dave, who almost
you should not be playing games. You should be doing other things. Anyways, yeah. So Path of Exile, they started a new event, and it's called like a dash event or something like that. Anyways, it's fine, except that the prizes suck. It's like the way it works is they said, okay, everybody who gets to level 35 is guaranteed a box, which costs like $5-6 in the store. You get a random roll at a cosmetic item, which is fine. So you get a character to level 35, you get that. And then for every 10 levels after that, you are entered into a drawing to potentially maybe win something. And I reread it like 4 times when they announced it because I'm like, this is dumb. I'm just going to go to level 35, get my character to level 35, and then not spend another minute on it because why should I? Why would I? Yes. So the dogs are voicing their displeasure at the entry rules for this contest, and I don't blame them. So anyways, yeah. I have other friends who did not understand that, and Mr. J and I says this has been happening for 2 years. I know, but usually there's something a little bit better, I think, on those PC versions. Anyways, the PC events. But anyways, so I just went back to my main character, trying to get as much done as I can before the whole league resets, and we go into a brand new clean slate again with no economy and all that stuff. But it was interesting to experience that in this event, because everybody who makes a character in this event, there's nobody's selling anything. There's nothing on the auction house because nobody's got anything, and so it's been really interesting from that perspective to see what it's like at the beginning of a league. So yeah, so I've been playing a lot of Path of Exile. Farm Together. My wife and I picked up a farming game. I usually loathe those kinds of games. They usually are very boring to me. This one's actually fun, and Matt, we shared played a little bit and kind of got to look at it. I didn't, I don't know what your take on is. It's very soothing for me. Like if I want to just completely turn my brain off, and I don't have to worry about what do I need to do next. I can look around and see what needs to be done next via icons. It's a very like, oh, I know what I'm going to be doing in this game. I'm going to go here. I'm going to pick these trees. I'm going to then go pot some plants. I'm going to go water them, and then I'm gonna do some more of that, and that's it. Like I don't have to think about it, it's just there. It's on the PSN. It supports couch co-op and online play, So that's kind of nice. Not a lot of games like that, sadly, come out, and it's been good. And then
it's very much like Farmville minus all the annoying Facebook/mobile game type stuff in it.
Yeah. There's no way to buy microtransactions or anything. They do have DLC, which are closed for the people and upgrades to the tractor, I think, but it's all super minor stuff, all cosmetic. And then we got For the King, which Matt and I played on Magic Monday, which is a co-op, turn-based, procedural dungeon crawler board game. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good. I played it. I played the heck out of it on PC, and really enjoyed it there. So I was pretty jazzed when it came to console because I figured I might actually be able to get somebody to come play with me. And lo and behold, Matt bought it. So hooray! So we get to play it together on Mondays. So I'm pretty excited about that. We didn't even we didn't die within the first.
We didn't. Well, we died, but we didn't perma die.
Yeah, we didn't perma wipe, which party wipe, permanent.
Which we came close that one.
Yeah, we did, but we managed to get through it. So yeah, I'm pretty surprised. This is probably my longest first game of the times that I have picked it up. Normally I'll die really quick the first time and then play a longer game after that, and so I'm impressed so far. What I've watched, I've been watching Game of Thrones. What a barn burner! So obviously I don't want to do spoilers for the people that are not caught up, which I don't even know if you're caught up.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. I do want to talk about that. I feel like having gone through the entire series up until this point, I think that the writers just want to be done. I really think that they just want to be done. That's why we got 2 short, not even 10 episode seasons, but 7 and 6 episode seasons. And some of the things that some of the characters are doing now, I was okay with things that happened in this last episode. They've kind of been foreshadowing it, but the more I reflect on it, the more I think that they just want to be done.
Yeah. There were some very weird... I mean, it's not unseeable, but they didn't do the lead-in right.
No.
On a couple of things. Again, they're forcing it to be done, right? They've got, what are they, 13 episodes. Okay, we've got 13 episodes to get from here to here. How are we going to get there? Okay, here's how we're going to get there. And some things don't make a ton of sense. Some things... I'm still trying to figure out how the story wasn't completely done 2 episodes ago when it seems like there was an opportunity for one of the insides to be entirely wiped, and it wasn't. Or is it 1 episode ago? Anyway, yeah. I'm just like, how did that not? What? How? Where? Why? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it still. So don't get me wrong, because I will say this: they've kept me guessing. Everything that I thought was going to happen did not happen.
Every cut, the second half of that second episode, you're like, oh, they really? Nope, they didn't. Oh, wait, maybe. Nope.
No, I still say the second episode is probably one of my favorites of the series. Again, not getting into spoilers, but just the writing for it was pretty good. I thought it might bode well for the writing for the rest of it, but not so much. So Game of Thrones, I'm excited to watch the last episode. I'm sure no one will be happy, myself included.
Do we know what the runtime on this last episode is?
Nope. I'm guessing 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's got to be 2 hours.
I'm actually now I want to read the books because I know it's diverged greatly from the books. The problem is that he still hasn't released the last 2 books, so I don't want to until he does so.
Hopefully somebody has his notes, because I have a feeling he's not.
He's gonna pull a Robert Jordan. I know he's gonna pull a Robert Jordan. I mean, seriously. By the way, if you're not familiar with Robert Jordan, he started the Wheel of Time series when I was in diapers, and then he died 10 books in to the series, and I started reading it on book 5 in college, and then he died on book 10, and that was 23 years later, 25 years later.
5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. So luckily they brought Brandon Sanderson in, and the thing about the Wheel of Time series, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, is that amazingly, when Robert Jordan has a picture in his mind, and they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, he uses all 1,000 words to paint that picture. And there are a lot of people who's really turned off by that. I really like it because it makes a very vivid image in my head. And though I will say that out of all the book series I've ever read, that series has the most main characters and sub characters, and I know every single one of them. I know their nuances, their history, their backstory, because he gave it all to me in a way that I remembered. So there's that. But then when they brought Brandon Sanderson in to write the last 3 books, which were still 3,000 pages, and they broke it up into 3 1,000 page books. When another writer got a hold of it, it was like reading an action movie. I don't know how else to say that. It's things are happening so fast. It was amazing. It was. So, anyways, I'm interested to see if that same thing happens with George R.R. We've been watching The Voice. America is stupid. That's all I got to say. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Snap? What Snap? Thanos? Who's that? I think they didn't really have a choice but to, they didn't know what was going to happen, so they had to just make a choice to ignore the whole thing, and that's fine.
We're in a divergent timeline.
Yeah, probably. Damn Captain America. And then I've been watching New Japan's Battle of the Super Juniors. This is a round-robin tournament, 2 blocks of 10 wrestlers. That's 20 pay-per-views.
Jesus.
With 4 to 5 singles matches per night. Each wrestler wrestles 20 times. No. Each wrestler wrestles 10 times. 10 times. Because they go through each of the other opponents once in the opposite block. Because there's an A block and a B block. And so, no, wait. Maybe they wrestle 5 times. Because they go through everybody in their block once. And then the person with the highest number of points at the end will take on the winner of the opposite block. And then from there, the champion will be crowned. But anyways, it's 20 pay-per-views. Is a short answer. They alternate A and B block every night, and I'm telling you, man, it's like it's a real sport. We know wrestling is fake, but the wins and losses actually matter for something. And yes, it's all predetermined, and who cares? These guys are amazing athletes that they can go out there and do the stuff that they do, and A, not kill themselves, and B, not kill somebody else. And so I'm just still in awe that these guys have such a phenomenal work rate, and it's some of the best wrestling you'll find anywhere on the planet. And it doesn't matter if you like the flippy stuff or if you like the old school kind of beat on somebody, pick a body part, isolate it, and tell a story that way. They've got plenty of that. It's everything's kind of accounted for, and it's very refreshing. And then I am watching Endgame yet again on Friday. One of my friends was overseas in China and was not able to see it while he was over there, so he just got back into the States and said, "Hey, do you want to go watch it again?" I'm like, "Why not?" And so this is my 5th or 6th time actually watching it. I've lost count at this point. I might have another friend who has not seen it going as well, hopefully. Knock on wood. Well, Bacon Guy, what's up, man? And that's it for me.
All right.
Yes, I will give them more money to beat Avatar because Avatar does not deserve its slot. Thank you. Drop mic.
Avatar has the honor of being the first of the popular, actually well done 3D movies, and that was enough to get it where it is.
Yeah, but it's still not a really good movie.
No, it sold the gimmick, and
yeah. But come on,
it did it. It did that thing. It did that thing where it made its life off of being a gimmick. But let's see. I don't know exactly when. It's been 12 weeks since we've been on, so I'll just.
Well, I confused Lexi even because she was like, "No, you and Matt and Dave just did the podcast." I'm like, "No, that was the Avengers spoiler cast. We haven't done a podcast in like 3 weeks, I think."
Yeah. So
life finds a way.
Exactly. So let's see. With the this month's PS Plus games, I finally played What Remains of Edith Finch. That is a me type game. Very, very short. Very interesting construction, but most people have already played it. I'm one of the few people on the planet who hadn't played it yet.
Me either.
It's very. I think you'll be very intrigued in it from a storytelling perspective. You appreciate interesting and unique storytelling styles, and it does tell a story from a very unique perspective.
Did you beat it?
Yeah, I finished it. It's like 2.5 hours tops.
Oh wow! Okay, great. I can finish that.
Yeah, you can. So yeah, I did it in one setting, and then I went back and did the couple of things I missed along the way to 100% the trophies. There's no platinum, but it tells you exactly what you need to do to get the trophies. So, and then also I tried Overcooked, which seems like a good game, but it gets very hard very fast if you're playing by yourself.
Anytime you want to play Overcooked, hit me up.
Okay.
Because I have it. And my wife, it's one of those things that I bought to play with Lexi, and Lexi played like one round of it. She's like, no. And I'm like, this is amazing. She's like, no.
I do want to see if I can get Eve to play with me, because I think she'll enjoy that. But it'll be.
I think it has 4 players.
Yeah, it's up to 4. Yeah, so it can be up to 4. So that one's kind of on hold. You mentioned For the King, which was a lot of fun. It's it's methodical. It's not a fast game in any stretch of the imagination. But used to the, that's kind of games that I like to play are not necessarily the fast ones.
I mean, that's why I think board game is an appropriate between the hex movement and the rolling of the dice and all that type of stuff. I think board game is a good nomenclature for it, but also the speed. It plays about the speed of a board game. So you're figuring out how many spots on the board you're going to move, and then what action are you going to take, or are you going to wait? And the RNG for the hits, I'm still a little mystified by. I want to. It's probably fine, and I'm probably making it way too much of a thing. It isn't, but it just. I'm sure it's just a die roll in the background, but it just something about the way they present it makes it. It
weird.
Doesn't matter when you have a hammer that you do 3 successes and can kill anything.
Not anything. Those things.
Well, except for the skeletons at night. All right.
Yeah.
The skeleton giants at night. You can't do that. But anything else, no problem.
Yeah. We stumbled across that. What was that? An encounter? What did we? Was that in a dungeon? Where was that?
No, that was out at night. It was right by the thing. I'm like, oh, let's just kill the skeleton because we killed one before during the day. No problem.
No, I was like, where it got the hammer from.
Oh, the hammer? No, that was just a random drop.
Just a random drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then your glass bow, which we. Oops.
Why, Matt, do you keep bringing this up? I keep forgetting about it and calming down, and then we bring it back up. So in For the King, apparently when you get a critical fail, it breaks your weapon. No notification, no nothing other than, hey, critical fail. And I'm like, oh no, critical fail. Nothing happened. And then my bow was gone. So
Yeah, it comes into the next round, and the only thing he can do is punch.
and I'm like, "Where's my bow?"
And you went from 35 piercing damage down to 14. Yes.
Yeah.
So, played some more Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories. While that will never be my favorite of the Kingdom Hearts games, it does have to get points for being able to summon
No,
Cloud.
you had it right. You had it right. You get points for being able to summon Squall. That
Well,
is correct.
yeah, Squall isn't in there as far as I know.
Doesn't matter. You get points for it.
Yeah, but okay, so you got Cloud. He's not a particularly strong summon, but I've worked him into my deck in a way that works quite well for me. So, I still think if you would have been playing this game back in the day, you'd own like half of the how-tos out there on this game because it is very much in your brain space. It's way too much work for me. I'm like, okay, this works. Oh, it's not working anymore. Crud. All right, let's go tweak. Okay, hopefully this will work for the next 4 or 5 worlds. Let's see. We haven't really done any Realm Royale. We did play some Path of Exile a few weeks ago, but we kind of got other things around there. I did play.
I still have the stuff for your build, just FYI.
So we'll get back to it someday.
Yeah. Well, probably once the new league comes out, because then I'm not gonna want to come out of the game. I'll be like, Matt, you got to make a new character now. Come on.
And then I did play the 3 ads to the NES service for the Switch Online, which was Excite Bike Versus, which I guess was a Japan only release for a version of Excite Bike. I only played the single player version because I didn't have anybody to play against, so it was just Excite Bike.
Remind me, I have Nintendo Online. I have not booted Nintendo Online, done anything with Nintendo Online. I keep forgetting I have Nintendo Online.
Well, if you can stream that, we'll have to fire up some of those, because some of them they're special versions that jump you straight to endgame with all the items and stuff, and then there's others that are just the plain old regular game. And
I can do that. I think I will have to explore that. I should be able to when it's docked.
Yeah, through the HDMI, I would think, unless you can't.
No, I can. Is there a? Because it'd be the HDMI out. From there, I just need to plug it into the. Yeah. I should be able to do that.
So that might be something fun to do one night.
Yeah.
Then Clue Land, I think, was one title. I'd never played it before. It's a weird puzzle. It's a puzzle game where your character zips around this grid, and you have to pass through the right things to make a rupee from Legend of Zelda appear. And then after you get the pattern, like one was a heart, so you had to get the pattern of the heart. One was the eagle map from the Legend of Zelda, so you had to make that in there. And then there's little enemies running around that are trying to push you into a hole, and it was kind of a weird game. I didn't really like it. And then the last one was
sorry, obligated 9 out of 10 Gamersledge.
Yeah. And then the other one was
game. Didn't like it.
I didn't really like it. That's about half the ones on the surface, actually. This is a weird game. I don't think I really like it. But then the last one was Donkey Kong Jr., which is just a brutal game that I remember being brutally difficult. And guess what? It is brutally difficult. And I'm not sure the port on NES is super great. NES, not Super NES. So that were the 3 new ones. I put a bunch of time into Ninja Gaiden the other day because I found out it doesn't have the 3 continue limit. So even the standard one doesn't have the 3 continue limit. So I could actually get past that one boss and have more than one life left to explore what was on the other side of it. So I think I have a save state right after that. That's another nice thing too. It's basically an emulator, right? So you got save states. You can just save wherever. So that's also handy. Someday I'll try and go through it, with the old school 3 continues limit on myself, but not today. So that was that. On the watching front, I'm trying to keep a list of all the things I do this year so that when we get to the end of the year, but I have to differentiate things that came out this year versus things that didn't come out this year that it's very frustrating. The Orville season 2 finished up, I think, since the last time we talked. Have you watched? You haven't even watched season 1, have you?
No, I finished season 1.
We finished season 1. Okay.
My wife thought it would be a fantastic. I want to see if she yells at me. She thought it would be a great idea to watch the first 3 episodes without me. And so I'm getting death stare. I'm getting death stare. She says, somebody else said it was somebody else's idea. Yet she could have spoken up and said, "No, I'm going to watch that with my husband," but apparently not. Anyways,
can't have that kind of language on a podcast.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. We have been rewatching them, and I think did we get through episode 2 or 3?
We're not on episode 2.
So we finished episode 2 then.
Okay.
And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of not jazzed with necessarily how the season started out.
Yeah, there's a point. I can't really tell you what point it is without giving things away, but there's a point where the season turned and got way better for me. It was still good at the beginning, the first few episodes of the season, but there's a certain episode where it turns and the rest is great.
Perfect. And I think we did hear that it did get renewed.
It did renewed. It's been renewed sometime in 2020. Season 3 will air.
Perfect.
So yeah, there was a really cool spoiler reel that came, or not spoiler reel, sizzle reel of gag reels. That was hilarious. That was really good. I mean, this show probably shouldn't exist, but it's just amazing and awesome that it does. And the love that McFarlane puts into it. I mean, whether you like him as an individual or not, you can't help but just tell the love that he's poured into this show and the love he has for the genre. The genre in this case being Star Trek.
Specifically Next Generation.
Deep Space Nine era Star Trek, yeah. Let's see, what else is in this list? Finished up The Rookie, a.k.a. Nathan Fillion, the show.
Castle, the non-Castle show.
Yeah. So it was solid. It was good. It wasn't great. Didn't redefine the world or anything, but it was good. It was solid. I think it got picked up for a second season, if I remember correctly. So
will he be the sophomore?
What?
Will he be the sophomore at that point?
Sophomore? I think he's still got another few times of being the rookie still.
Oh, okay.
Eventually that title won't make sense anymore.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
The same with that medical show, The Resident. At some point, that's not going to make sense anymore.
I mean, don't they they're going to have to change the name of the show. I don't know what they're going to do.
Or then he'll have a rookie, and then that's how they'll keep it relevant. Let's see. She-Ra season 2.
What have I told you about giving them ideas for free?
Oh man, you should listen to the. I don't think you'll actually do it. You should listen to the spoiler cast for Sacred Symbols. That's not Colin from Beyond Days.
Colin Moriarty.
Moriarty's PlayStation show. He did a spoiler cast for Days Gone. He completely rewrote the script for them in the spoiler cast. Nice. He's like, "You're welcome." So that was pretty funny. I haven't played the game, but knowing I'm not going to play the game probably ever, I went ahead and listened to the spoiler cast. So it pretty much confirmed all of my assumptions about what the story was. So I feel like I'm okay.
I ended up watching one of my friends that I play Path of Exile with play it, and my assumption was Sons of Anarchy meets The Walking Dead,
which is pretty much what the developer had said previously.
Right.
So, yeah.
But what we got was a little bit more watered down than that. So, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, everything seems to be coming out. It's a fine game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the ecosystem we're in right now, fine is...
Yep.
That's kind of like Mad Max is a fine game. But I don't think I'll ever go back and finish it.
It's a fine game. 9 out of 10, Gamersledge.
Yeah. 6.5. She-Ra season 2, which was obviously an abbreviated season, didn't really do much for me. Honestly, was kind of disappointed with that one. Shadowhunters has had its series finale. I have no idea how it lines up with the books. I saved the episode for Mitchell to watch, thinking he'd finished the books, but apparently he hasn't read the last book of the original storyline, so that won't help me either. But yeah, they did some stuff. It did the same thing too. It's like, we've got to finish the show. Fast forward. So, stuff happened, things blew up, and then everyone died, and not really.
I'm sorry, by the time I finished that book series, if everybody had died, I'd been just okay.
And then been watching Cloak and Dagger season 2, which is really good. Really leans into social issues. So I'm sure there's a group or an element out there that doesn't appreciate that, but I think the way they do it is well done. There's ways you can go about it that are good and ways that you can go about it that are bad, and they lean more into the good than the bad. There is one unresolved plot point from season 1 that they've just completely ignored that's driving me nuts. But that's just me. I'm sure people can watch it and be just perfectly fine with it. You could make up a reason why, which I'll probably do eventually, why it's just been completely abandoned.
See, it's really frustrating. It's gonna phase in and out of existence.
Yeah, I don't get it.
My watch face is Cloak and Dagger, and it physically pains me that I have not watched the show yet. Like,
I still have a Hulu subscription, right? So
yeah, I have my mural, right, and in the middle of it is Darkhawk, and then up here to the right is Cloak and Dagger, and then there's Firestorm, and then there's Bishop's the main man, but he doesn't go on the B and C listers,
right?
Mural, but Firestorm from DC, Darkhawk, and Cloak and Dagger. Those are my favorite, mid-tier characters. And I have not watched a single episode of Cloak and Dagger, and it's killing me.
I don't have the same affinity, even though they're spawned out of Spider-Man, right? I mean, they are Spider-Man characters.
They are Spider-Man characters.
So, I mean, I know them. I know about them. I know their basic power sets. The show is different. There are elements of the Ultimate versions in there. There's... we can talk about that offline. I don't know. I don't want to get into potentially spoiler range, but
biggest dropped storyline in Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Coulson's wife was poised to become Dagger, and they had the guy for Cloak, and
just didn't. Yep.
I'm like, you sons of guns! You teased me with this.
And then
how cool would Cloak and Dagger have been on? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It would have been, and it would be really good right now because episode 1 of season, what are we on, 6?
6.
No, that was really good. That was really solid. I enjoyed it.
So Lexi didn't like it. She's watched the whole series. She's like,
the ending twist, the twist at the end of the episode. Or just overall?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Talking about. Yeah. No, episode 1.
Right.
Season
There's
6.
a twist at the end of...
No, the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Just that she's like, it doesn't feel the same. There's new characters. She doesn't like change. Right? I mean...
There were new characters. There were some new characters, but most of them were characters we'd encountered before.
Yeah, but not that you knew their name.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And now suddenly they have speaking parts. What the hell's going on? So I get it. She'll be fine.
They're not all just fodder anymore, except when they are.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, she'll grow into that part of it, but I think she's really having a hard time with the end of last season, and she's got some negative feelings towards Mac, and so I think that's part of it.
How do you not? Okay, that may be a discussion for another time.
How he treated a certain someone in his life.
Oh! I thought you meant before that you're just saying elements from this episode.
No. She's got long-standing grudges with him from last season.
I'm obviously not bothered by something that probably bothered more people, but that's okay.
Well,
I'll figure it out later.
The result of why she was upset with him manifested in this episode of the status of two people, or not status, because he's a jerk. That's how she feels.
Okay.
She's not kind of wrong.
Okay, I got to process that a bit, but anyway.
Okay.
So let's see. I did do a thing, and Netflix. There was an article on one of those stupid news things I follow, and it was second largest earning movie of 2018 sneaks onto Netflix to no announcement or whatever it was. It turns out it's this Chinese produced, released science fiction movie.
Oh, yes.
That snuck onto Netflix. Made some ridiculous amount of money in the Chinese market. Was never released for theatrical release in North America. I'm not sure about Europe or anywhere outside of China, to be honest. And it is a Chinese movie for Chinese audiences. But it's like here's the master class of Chinese cinematography and their take on science fiction movie. And I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what the heck this thing is. One, do not watch the English dub. It is like 90s anime bad.
Nice.
Like, seriously, how do we get a dub that bad in this current era where we have professionals who know how to do this? I had to switch over to subtitles and the Mandarin dialogue because I couldn't do the English dialogue. And it was basically if you took The Day After Tomorrow, Armageddon, and about 100 pounds of cheddar, you have this movie. Yeah, 9 out of 10 Gamersledge.com. That's, I mean, visually, yes, it was very nice visually. The premise was straight goofball anime. It's like, oh, okay, I can accept this premise. It is ridiculous. It is stupid. Nothing in the world supports that this is a thing that could happen. But okay, here's the part where we mandatorily have to make China the best country in the world. Okay, got that. We got to get that out of the way.
Mr. J Nice says, and still better than all of DC.
It might have been better than Aquaman. But
Aquaman was not bad.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't like Batman vs Superman.
Well, yeah, and I don't have that bar to adjust against, so...
No, you need to watch that, because then you will see Aquaman in a new light for the amazing DC movie it is.
Oh, that's not motivating.
Yeah.
But but just to see that this was the movie that was like, but it was very much a 90s goofy science fiction movie of like an Armageddon type thing. It was, that's the closest analog I could draw to. There's definitely elements of Day After Tomorrow in there, and there's elements of an Armageddon type story. And the movie, by the way, which I haven't even said the name of, is called The Wandering Earth. Or A Wandering Earth? The Wandering Earth. And I don't know any of the actors' names. I don't know the directors' names. I don't know any details about it. You can look them up. I could look them up, but I won't butcher the pronunciation of their names for you on the live internet. So it's an interesting watch. It's way too long. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. Easily could have been a 90-minute movie. Easily could have been a 90-minute movie. Probably would have been a better 90-minute movie than it was what it was. I will say I did doze off a couple of times, which is really bad with subtitles because now I have no idea what happened. But I did not feel motivated to go back and figure it out because it didn't really matter.
9 out of 10 Gamersledge.
9 out of 10. So yeah, that's like the highest grossing movie of 2018 out of China. I'm not really super motivated to go watch a bunch more Chinese movies, but I've seen good Chinese movies. Obviously, there's a whole genre of action movies out of China that, you know, I'm sure we've all appreciated something out of at one point or another. If nothing else, because that's half the Matrix, or the new Karate Kid. So, but yeah, I figured, you know, I'm going to figure out what this thing is and I'm going to give it a go. And I can't really say I came away loving it, but it is definitely a throwback to an older era for American moviegoers. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Oh, I do have to plug. Marvel is currently publishing a book called Darth Vader: Dark Visions,
Yes.
which is kind of anthology, almost Dark Mirror, Twilight Zone-ish type anthology. It's all about Darth Vader, but not from his perspective. It's from other people's perspectives of Darth Vader, and it's very weird, and it's very not anything you would ever expect Marvel to publish. It's very much more an indie publisher type style story. The art styles are bizarre. The stories are kind of out there, but it's brilliant. It's really well executed. The first issue is amazing. The first issue is one of my favorite comics of all time. Second issue, it's good. It's good, but that didn't live up to that bar. Third issue is just downright disturbing. It's just, wow, I can't believe that got published.
I'm really interested in the Iron Man. I'm trying to remember if it's Iron Man or Avengers, where he gets teleported back in time and meets the Avengers, the prehistoric Avengers.
Okay, yeah, I've got that's in the stack over there. I haven't read it yet.
You'll have to tell me how it is, because that seems like that would be an interesting story.
Yeah.
Take Tony Stark in an Iron Man outfit and send him to the beginning of time where he meets the Avengers comprised of
the original Avengers before anyone knew there were Avengers.
Odin, Hulk with Starbrand.
The Ghost Rider rides a mammoth.
Ghost Rider riding a mammoth. What is it? Doctor Strange of that time period.
Yeah.
And who? There seems like there's one more. Oh, Phoenix. No, Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix is because Odin's dating whoever is possessed by the Phoenix.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got that. That's in the stack over there. I'll get to that eventually.
Is that Iron Man or is that Avengers?
That's Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Tony Stark Iron Man, I haven't been reading, so I'm not sure how that book is. There was another new Star Wars book. Star Wars just nails it on a lot of these books. I never could get into the Dark Horse books. They always felt off. Even stuff like Dark Empire, where you're reading and it's like, okay, I get this story, it's good, but there was always just something off about them. These books are nailing it. There have been a few questionable art directions in the main book a couple of times, but overall it's really, really been solid. They get really good writers, people who are passionate on it, and they really, really take it home.
They gotta feed Liefeld once in a while, you know.
Not that bad. But the other book they just launched was called TIE Fighter.
Why does this TIE Fighter not have feet? Sorry, I'm done. I promise. No more Liefeld jokes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Why are we watching Doom or whatever this is?
No, I wasn't. What the heck? Go ahead. I was checking the feed for something wrong.
But It's not related to the game from the PC game from the 90s, but it really good, really good from the perspective of a group, a squadron of TIE fighter pilots. So we're from the Empire's perspective on this one, and what's going on there. It's during the Rebellion era. So, but it's really, really strong start there. Issue 2 came out this week. I haven't read it yet. And then another book, Savage Avengers, came out. And apparently I'm missing something somewhere because somehow Conan is in modern times now.
Yes. So Conan was brought forward to modern times. He's not been doing a good job of fitting in.
It doesn't seem like, but so far the team for Savage Avengers is about what you would expect it was. But the first 2 members are Wolverine and Conan, and they start by trying to eviscerate each other. So, yeah, the Hand is at least the initial villain in this one. I don't know if that's going to stick or not, but we'll see. But yeah, so there's lots of good stuff going on the comic front. I still haven't read I've got the first 5-6 issues of the Boom Studios, Boom Publishing. I don't know what's it called, Boom Firefly book.
Oh, I was like, where are you going with this?
Where am I going with this? Something relevant, Firefly.
Firefly.
But yeah, it's an overdose of good stuff recently coming, especially out of Marvel, and all this stuff that's coming out about the Hickman X-Men is just driving me insane that I'm probably not going to get those books.
Why?
But
they're ending Uncanny X-Men after after all these years, but they're ending all the X books.
All of them.
Yeah. It's like they've been doing some stuff to really get me back in. They're not going to get me, but they're really doing some stuff to try and get me back in. And,
I mean, yeah, give Hickman the wheel, and he's going to do something. And they're letting him do something.
Oh, the smartest thing they did is they released that wraparound cover that has all those people that will be in his story, and there's like a bunch of WTF characters. Like, we know who it is, but why?
How? Why? Where?
Why? Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Why that version of that character?
Right. Why are there 3 versions of Wolverine? Well, we know why, but come on now. So yeah.
But yeah, I might have to get it just for the show. You can sponsor that, right? You can back that.
Probably. Let's talk offline. Yes, is the short answer. As long as you put it in my long box.
Yeah, it would fit better in your collection than mine.
I got this. I get this sorted.
I can do that. Yeah,
I can roll with that. All right. Well, so there is a trailer that we need to watch and discuss for our discussion this week.
I just lost your feed.
No, you didn't lose it.
Okay.
It's a thing they're doing with Rabbit now. It's really annoying. It's like when you go to actually go somewhere and open a window, you have to wait. So we'll fill time in the meantime.
Your tap dance routine ready?
No. We will not be on air next Wednesday. I have a doctor's appointment. I'm also getting ready to get up at butt crack o'clock in the morning to fly out on Thursday. So we will not have a podcast next Wednesday. Just FYI.
Okay. I'll put it accordingly.
What I can do in the meantime, while we're waiting for this, is I can actually quickly add the old game capture. Well, I could, except it doesn't. Oh, there it is. Okay. Hey, there we go. So, while we're waiting, I thought it'd be a good idea. We could probably. We should talk about Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh,
so, because that is one of the discussion topics as well. We generally cover straight business news on the site's news feed. So, anytime there's like social justice warrior posts or things going on like that, or a lot of industry controversy or reports of developers taking advantage of their staff or whatnot. We generally don't cover those, mainly because that's just our editorial purview. We don't want to take sides in any of that stuff.
Is that Final Fantasy 14? Are you playing Final Fantasy 14 and didn't tell me?
No. Are you playing Final Fantasy 14?
No, but
oh, okay.
It's a constant fight to not be playing.
Oh, well, I can hook you up with some people if you want to do that. That's not a problem. I have a group that does nothing but play Final Fantasy 14, so just FYI. I downloaded it to see what level I was, which is 20. And I also couldn't remember what I had, so I have the Stormbringer, Stormlight.
Yeah, I can't think of the name.
Stormblight. Yeah, so I'm one expansion behind, I think, and now the new one is coming out, etc. So there are a bunch of people saying, "Oh, you should get back into it." Except, no, I don't want to. I spent like 7 years of my life and 11, and when I play this one, I fall asleep. So I don't want to do that.
Oh wow!
But Mortal Kombat 11. A lot of reports came out saying that NetherRealm Studios takes advantage of a lot of their workers. There's mandatory crunch time, overtime periods, and then it came out that some people were having PTSD from having to look at the reference materials in order to get things right in making the game. And Matt, I know you and I have discussed this a little bit offline, and I agree with your sentiment about player agency for the PTSD stuff. I mean, I do think that the company should provide some kind of, like, if they know this is happening, they should have some kind of counseling or something. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll fix it. You don't have to slide around. I'll just fix it. There you go. But one of the issues that I had is now I feel guilty playing the game. As I spent my money on it, I bought the $100 version. It's already done, so it's not like anything I say or do is going to make it better. But I still feel bad playing it. And I don't know, am I just being silly? You think I'm being silly? I know you probably think I'm being silly. Because that's generally like, how is Mark silly? That's your answer. So I get that part, but in this case,
in this case, I get your argument. I understand where you're coming from. At this point, the world is a different place than it used to be, right? I mean, there is a significant tail on games that didn't used to exist. So things like number of active players and number of streams and that kind of stuff is more important to a game company and to the continuation of a series than it used to be. Now, having said that, most games still make most of their money in the first 30 days, right? So that we're past that.
Right.
Is you not playing the game going to impact whether or not they make a Mortal Kombat 12 or start over with Mortal Kombat or whatever they're going to do next? Is it going to impact their next project? Probably not. If 100,000 people did the same thing, is it going to impact them? Maybe. It's not going to stop them from bringing out a game. It might change their development process, right? They might drive.
That's what I hope, but
right. It might, but at the same time, what's done is done, right? I mean,
yeah.
What is dead may never die. If you're feeling bad playing the game, then don't play the game. I'm not going to tell you to play the game when it's actively making you feel bad.
Yeah, it's frustrating to me because, I paid for this, and now I feel like I'm supporting. Yeah, I get what you're saying, right? And that's really my own thing. I got to either get over it or not, and I get that. But I think it's an interesting conversation that we've never really had until now, because most of the time when this came up, about these types of things, it's always been some other company for me. It's
Right.
always been some other thing but now it's actually something that I like. Yeah, go ahead.
Who published it? Does NetherRealms publish that too?
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. So EA, basically.
Is that right?
Isn't it?
I thought they were their own publisher.
Are they separate enough?
I think they're separate. I think they're separate completely.
For some reason, I was thinking WB owned EA, but I could be very, very wrong on that front.
Mortal. I'll just look at the Wikipedia. That'll tell us. Survey says, and it's not in the news, but the Mortal Kombat movie reboot is actually happening, and I'm actually kind of excited about that.
Kind of cool.
Let's see. Wikipedia.
And you know, we should kind of
Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. They are their own publisher.
One thing we should Crunch is not exclusive to video games.
No, it is not.
It gets crunched. You kind of crunched into this box, but I don't think there's ever been a project I've been on that hasn't had some form of crunch. Now, there have been stories of just ridiculous things going on in the video game industry, just like there's stories of ridiculous things going on in other places, I'm sure. The 100-hour week thing, I really cast a dubious glare at that because that is a lot of hours. That is inhuman amount of work. There are people who can do that. I know people who put in what I consider an inhuman amount of work during a work week, just on a regular basis.
But I think
100 hours is a lot of hours in a week.
So I will say that I see that happen out here all the time in Silicon Valley. That is a standard thing, which I also find to be insane, but I also luckily am surrounded by people who want to have work-life balance and not be insane like that. But it's a real thing.
15 hours a day if you work all 7 days.
Plus commute, right? And so what a lot of people will do is they'll actually stay and sleep under their desk because it's not worth the 4 to 6 hours of commute time that a lot of people have to do here in the Valley. And I'm not condoning it, so don't get... But then on top of that, when you have a culture that shames people for not doing it, which is what we're seeing out of these reports, it's I mean, that's what I was saying. You spend your entire life working to get to a AAA studio, and then you find out, hey, that's what life is at this studio. And I it's incredibly heartbreaking for me as a fan of video games to know that probably a majority of the games I've ever enjoyed playing, somebody suffered from working on. And that's the thing. I think that's probably the thing I'm struggling with more right now, is that how pervasive is this? We know about certain companies, but for all we know, it could be going on everywhere, and more than likely it is.
Did you watch Raising Kratos?
No.
That is something I forgot to have on my list. I watched Raising Kratos on Friday. And I don't know that there is a project of that magnitude, of a AAA magnitude, where there is not going to be someone who gets trampled,
right? Either
one way or another, right?
But if it's the exception and not the rule, that's different.
Right. I mean, we there's never an out and out admission of what's going on, other than by Corey himself, who has been very open about the stress that he was under, especially towards the end of that game. Mm-hmm. Corey Barlog, the executive producer
yep.
On God of War. But there are a couple other major personalities at that studio who obviously had stuff going on that they alluded to during the course of the documentary. They never go into details of exactly what, but and some of them are parents, so I imagine it's missed sports games, missed school concerts, or whatever, so I'm sure that's part of it. But it's just there is a certain amount of sacrifice that is reassuring, right? If someone's willing to sacrifice stuff in their life to put into a product, as a consumer of that product, there's a certain amount of reassurance there. On the other hand, yeah, I don't want anyone. I mean, if you work one 100-hour week in your life, that's one 100-hour week too many. But if it's a week where life is hell because it's launch and you got to go, I've been there. I've never worked a 100-hour week, unless you count being deployed, which you're kind of always working. But so but there's still, it's, yeah, there's a line, right? There's never a time where someone should feel compulsed to wrong themselves.
See, and this, another reason that I've stuck with PoE is because they have a very vocal subreddit group, and they've built a great community, to be honest. We've talked about the level of imperviousness to figuring things out in the game. It's like Pokemon Go when Pokemon Go came out. Nobody knew anything, and then suddenly people were telling, well, if you flick this way, then the ball does, So it was like one of those tribal things where you have to work with other people to get the information. And that's the community
right.
they've
and that
built.
Was totally the strategy for that game.
Yeah, no, totally. But there have been a lot of complaints about the current league that they've been doing. And it needs balancing, there's a lot of problems with it. And their CEO came out and wrote a letter to the community saying, hey, I want to let you know that we, from the CSR reps to the devs to me personally, we all see and hear your complaints. And it's our fault. This was rushed. We put it out there because everybody was excited for the next one. We wanted to get it out. But more importantly, we've been actually working on the next big patch, which is 4.0 for them, and the things going on in the background, and the league before that, which is 3.7. And so this kind of fell in a weird place where we didn't have as many people working on it as we could have. And we decided to launch it and then fix it as we went, except then we got sidetracked with other things that blew up for the big update. And so I had a choice. I could do this as it was and know it was not perfect and know that the players would probably mercilessly crucify me for it and take that. Or I could run everybody in 100-hour weeks for crunch overtime to fix all these bugs, and I'm not going to run my company that way. And so after this league, this mechanic is just going away, which is something that they do sometimes, where normally what happens is anything they introduce in this league filters into what's called the main game standard mode. And so standard mode is this collection of everything they've ever released for the most part. But once in a blue moon, they will not take that thing from the league and put it in standard. And that's what he said. He said, this obviously needs to be baked a lot better, a lot longer, and we don't have the time or manpower to do that. So after this league, it's going away. And I know that's going to make some of you sad. It's going to make others of you happy. And I know we can't please everybody, but we're going to do our best to try and make the next upcoming versions better than this one was. And so, sorry. And I'm like, good on you. It's a risky thing for a CEO to come out and make that kind of statement. He easily could have passed that down to the community manager and had the community manager did it, but he came out and he did it. And kudos. I got no problem.
Yeah.
Larian Studios is another one that says we will not do these reckless crunch hours because people don't enjoy working here anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't either. Excuse me for a minute while I yell at my dog. Bed! He's soaking wet. It's raining cats and dogs, literally dogs, here, and he's soaking wet, and we're trying to get him to stay in his bed so that, he's not getting all over the couch or whatever. But he doesn't want to listen. All right, is there anything else we need to say about this particular topic? I think I've exhausted my thoughts on it for the moment.
No, I think we're good.
All right, let's get us to something that came out in the State of Play last week, and will be our second.
Which before we pop into this, State of Play 2 better than 1?
So here's the thing. I don't like these State of Plays. They're fine. They're fine. right? 9 out of 10 Gamersledge. They're fine. But it's so short, and there's no... I get what they're doing, and I get why you wouldn't want to be at E3, and I get that they're kind of adopting the same thing that Nintendo did. The difference is that Nintendo has the devs, they have the face people come out and talk about the things to give you that personal connection. This is YouTube trailer, and that's it. It's like you've got a disembodied voice that's telling me, here's the next thing on State of Play. And then I watch a 2-minute YouTube clip. Why even have the State of Play thing at all? I mean, there's no... it's effective, it works. I'm not saying that it's not a good social media tool. I just think that they should put more production into it if they're going to do it. Have people there, get us, we like the devs from the different studios, or maybe it's a new dev and they've got a cool story. Tell us a little bit about that story, and then show us the game. This is just like, it's too surgical for me. That's my opinion. Do you like it better? Did you like the first one? Did you like the second one better than the first one? And then do you like them overall?
I've been fine with them. I didn't really have high expectations. I thought the first one lacked an oomph. You think for the first one you would have wanted something to trademark it, but I also understand they don't want to risk having the stigma every one of these is going to have a big oomph, especially if they're doing one every 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, are they? Right? Who the flark knows?
We don't know.
Yeah, that's the point, right? It's kind of dumb.
I mean, and then that's following the direct model. We didn't know we were having a Mario Maker 2 direct until it happened today, right? So I get that. I understand but they did set the expectations for this one. It was 3 days in advance. They told us it was coming. They told us the two big things, that there was going to be Medieval and there was going to be a game announcement, which the one we're going to talk about isn't even the new game announcement. That was the Predator game, but which I was excited about until I found out it was an asymmetric multiplayer game. I just want to be the Predator.
Well, you can.
You
versus
can
5 other actual players.
Every 6 times you play or whatever, or you have to be the top ranked guy, which will never be me. So, so I was a little set up by that. I thought 2 was better. I thought 2 was marketed better. I thought it had a good balance of things. I do appreciate your point. I think they will get to the point where they'll have talking heads, but I think it'll be more like you were saying. It'll be more like here's DevX to talk about their upcoming release, blah, blah, blah. And then it'll play another video, So
I don't know why they pulled the plug on it, but Core would have been the perfect replacement for these. Core with
I mean, this is Video Core, really, is what it is.
Yeah,
right?
But what was her name? What's her name?
Veronica Belmont.
Veronica Belmont. That was the perfect format for this. And it would have given us the touchstone of somebody we knew every episode to kind of introduce us to this stuff. And
I was just glad they didn't give it to Sid. So I don't hate Sid as much as you do. I actually don't hate Sid at all. But he would have been the wrong person.
I never work for or with PlayStation social media team, because every time I see Sid, it's like that guy that's on the friggin' PC gaming show. Oh my god, I just want to murder them. It's so bad.
I get Sid really bothers you. I don't think he's that bad personally. He's got some quirks, but but yeah, it was like, I don't think he's going to be the right person to host these things. And then they went without a host. Yeah, they've just got effectively a robot voice person.
Yeah, I don't know that that's a real person. That's
I'm
how.
I'm sure it isn't. If it is, it's heavily modified. But yeah, it's not great. I did enjoy the second one more than the first one. I think if they would have said our first is going to feature VR stuff, and we all went into it understanding, this is a VR focused thing, then we would have probably had our gauge a little better set. I still think they missed the opportunity to put something there that could have been, not necessarily PS5 is going to be $450 and come out on the first of whatever month. It didn't have to be that level, but oh yeah, by the way, that's my guess at the price point is $450. But I think it's good. I think it's a good foundation. I like the style. I do like the sliding card thing. I don't know what it is about that.
No,
I like
fine.
the sliding card thing. I think their overall look for it is good. I do think they need to have, whether it's Sean Layden or it's a dev or somebody, one of the videos needs to be a talking head. And it doesn't have to be a host. It doesn't have to be the same person every time, but they do need a personal touch in there somewhere.
I'd throw my hat in the ring. There's a PlayStation rep I met a few years back in Omaha named Joe Parisi. You could throw him in there, be the host. He'd be fine at it. All right. So this is one of the things they showed us. I want to go through it because
and instant the video audio started and knew exactly what it was because it started out with such an iconic sound.
Yep.
Halt! Hands up!
Have fun.
I'm here for you, to help take the load off your shoulders.
So, what's our next move, boss?
That's easy enough.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Here, this is for you.
A flower?
Can you bear to see the planet suffer, Cloud?
I really like that 3D version of the logo.
Yeah, no, I do too. And the sad part is I'm all in on this. There's nothing that they can do. One of my friends is like, oh, it's gonna be episodic. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm like, I am. I'm plunking down every bit of money I have for this thing when it comes out. I don't care how yeah, whatever. Even if I just get disc 1, or the first part of the story, if that's all they put out and then they never make any more of it, I'm good. I'm still, the purist in me is very upset that it's not turn-based combat, but it's now an action.
And it might still be because we don't really get a good look at the system there. I mean, you still do have the life bar and almost the active time battle stuff on the one side of the screen. And then there's the other side of the screen where there appears to be a more active part. But that's not saying that didn't come to your turn, and now that it's your turn, now you do something active.
Maybe. So the two complaints or two talking points that I have about this. First of all, there was a big stink on the internet about Barrett's voice. I'm like, did you read the dialogue in Final Fantasy VII? He was Mr. T.
Basically.
Mean, there was no, everybody's like, oh, he's being marginalized, he's being, personified in a way that isn't representative. I'm like, no, if you read Final Fantasy VII, he was Mr. T. It's like, all he did everything except I pity the fool for not calling my mama with 1-800-COLLECT. That's the only thing he didn't do.
Pretty much.
So, I don't get that flowback at all. Number 2, though, spoilers. Arguably one of the largest spoilers in video game history happened in this game. This game came out 22 years ago. WTF are we supposed to do about spoilers with this game?
Okay, so this isn't a you issue. This is somebody had issue with something being spoiled in that trailer?
No, not in the trailer, but the game itself, right? We know all the stuff that happened in that game because we played it 22 years ago.
20 years ago, yeah.
Right. But there's a brand new generation of players who've never played the game, who've never seen the game, who definitely don't know about that spoiler. So how do you cover a 22-year-old game that is being remade that has significant spoilers in it? And that's my talking point for this that I had penciled in. I'm like, this is an interesting conversation. And I'm like, I have no idea what we're supposed to do.
Well, it's an interesting thing too, because to run another spoiler, there's always someone who hasn't seen a Star Wars movie, right? Mm-hmm. But you'll be hard pressed in North America to find someone that doesn't know that Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Right.
So there's an amount of some of those things that just become social consciousness, right?
But I wouldn't say that's one of them.
Is Final Fantasy VII? Yes, not everybody, right? Because the gamer net is way wider than it used to be. Right. So there are going to be people who are our analogs in this day and age who are already going to know all the stuff about this game because it is so pervasive in the turn of the 3D era. I don't know. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
But it's a pivotal game when we were switching from 2D sprites into 3D realms. I mean, the whole reason the game was on PlayStation was because the N64 couldn't handle the 3D nature of the game
and
with the renders and the backgrounds and the sizes. So, there's so much about this game that is a part of game culture and game knowledge. Is that still a spoiler? Yeah, it's going to be a spoiler for someone. I mean, there's three things I could think of that could be potentially considered game-breaking spoilers for that game.
And the biggest one, which I'll say right now, is whether it's Aerith or Eris. That's the biggest.
Everything other than the actual game Final Fantasy VII itself has Aerith, so I'm assuming they'll go with Aerith.
I still think they'll go with Eris.
You think so?
I think so. For the North American release, they will probably do it just to annoy everyone.
They did it. They didn't in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, but those teams don't talk to each other. I don't think they can.
Well, yeah, they do. Friggin' what's his face is the head of the project now.
Yeah, except that he wasn't. No, I'm not gonna. My point is that there's no Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts, so it doesn't matter. Except in Kingdom Hearts 1.
There were for the first two games.
Yeah, they're not really in the second one. Not to the same.
Oh, it's in a lot of the game in the second one.
Yeah, but okay, Oron, yes, but not like the ones we want.
I like Oron.
I like Oron too, but he's no Squall. Okay.
Well, Squall's still there. He's just got to rebuild. Okay, potential spoilers for a really old game too.
See. This is hard.
He's got to rebuild his home. There we go. So that's not a spoiler.
Yeah, but Kingdom Hearts 3, they're nowhere to be found.
Kingdom Hearts 3, yeah, there aren't. But I can't say his name today, so I'm not even going to try. The director / creator of Kingdom Hearts series definitely knows his Final Fantasy stuff, and he's going to know the difference. But I overall, though, I think the voicing was good. The indication seems to be that the dialogue is going to be part throwback cheesy with parts improvement. I hope we get a story that actually makes more sense because it can be localized better than the original. The original story just has a bit of weird goofiness to it that you're not going to get away from.
But that weird goofiness is Japan. And so, like the bathhouse scene. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be in the game. The remake?
Probably not. I'm guessing the cross-dressing scene will.
Yeah, I would think it would, maybe. But then, there's people who would be, I'm not a snowflake, but I get people's, pushback on some stuff. But, if people cry foul with that cross-dressing scene, I will put a gun in my mouth and just pull the trigger. Seriously. It's not like they've pulled Bugs Bunny cross-dressing off the friggin' airwaves, It's it's meant as comedy sometimes, and it doesn't hurt anybody. Just leave me alone. Final Fantasy, yeah.
No, but I was excited. That was nice. That thing they threw at the end there. Really wasn't expecting we would see anything. I was figuring that was going to be the centerpiece since Square Enix took Sony's E3 slot. I thought that was going to be their big chance to really throw out there and get news
Well,
on.
it could very well be.
It could be, since they're working full time on that title now.
Do you think we will get a launch this year of episode 1?
I would think and what we saw there leads me to believe episode 1 will launch holiday this year.
That would be the best Christmas gift.
But they did bring it internal not that long ago, and the director's just finally refocusing to put 100% of his time on that. So I could see it slipping, not being until 2022. So
2022, did you say?
No, 2020 also. I did say 2, but I meant 2.
I was like,
also.
Don't do this. We're going to be 80 by the time the game's done. Oh my God. I don't want to even think about this. All right.
Yeah, we're only going it's 10 episodes, and it's only going to be 1 episode a year.
What was the it was Medieval, right?
Medieval, yeah, that was their show. It was supposed to be the showpiece piece, but I think Final Fantasy kind of stole the spotlight there.
Totally did. Although I am a little interested in this because I think Lexi might have played it.
There lived in the kingdom of Gallowmere a sorcerer named Zerok. He raised
It's definitely a very period game. I mean, it's still. Whereas Final Fantasy VII is a remake, this is just a recoding and a.
This is a remaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have this whole weird lexicon of words we need to come up with for all these different things and the different levels.
Yep.
But yeah, this is still the same game. It's just made to be playable on a modern system. I think so, at least. Looking at it, I never played Medieval. I have no experience with it, but it looks very much a game of that period.
Yeah, it's interesting because I never played it myself. I agree with you, Anime Legend. Vaccines do not cause autism. That is correct. I remember when it launched, but I never did end up playing it for whatever reason. And I'm worried about these, those fixed camera angles. I'm a little bit worried about that because that type of stuff really does frustrate my wife when she plays. But yeah, I will be interested to see that, and I will probably pick that up when it comes out.
Coming out Halloween time too, so that's appropriate.
That's a good time for it. Man, I think we were not on the air when the Sonic trailer came out.
Oh.
So
I still think this is I still buy my conspiracy theory, and I've heard others with it now too, that this trailer was put out with a bad render on purpose, so that whatever they actually have as their final render will be more acceptable.
But I get that there's no such thing as bad press, but what does that do other than everyone think that Sega are idiots?
Well, the majority of the problems with this movie are not the render of Sonic.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, look, it's got the rings. I'm gonna go buy my ticket right now.
It makes the right sounds, and the car had the green hills. It's the green hills on there,
and Gangster's Paradise.
Gangster's Paradise.
Why? Why Gangster's Paradise?
That was the only 90s song they could get the license for.
Poor Coolio.
Oh man! At this point, they probably should have just paid Weird Al to do Amish Paradise.
Yeah, that would have been that would have been a step up. It kills me that he's in it.
I know too. It's like, oh man, why are you at this level now?
And just FYI, we're not talking about Jim Carrey. We're talking about
Colonel Ty.
Colonel Ty, yeah.
Can't think of his name.
To be fair, they've got this guy, and he's a pretty accomplished actor too.
Yeah.
So, and apparently, the audio sync no longer works on Rabbit.
Yeah. Meow, really? They've got a decent voice actor on Sonic too, and it's not shown in any of this. I can't remember who it is, but and obviously Cyclops will take any role.
Yeah, James Marsden, no doubt.
Yeah.
Right?
Somebody pointed out the other day, I didn't even realize it, that this is not his first talk to a CG animated small mammal movie. He was in Hop too.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, well, he will take any part, and I don't blame him. If I was an actor
you
and I
work,
could get the roles, I would too. Since when did rings become portals? Also,
apparently there was one game where that was a thing. Somebody, I think on the Game Informer podcast, something. Somebody did confirm that it is a thing in one game.
So this is my problem. All right, this is my problem.
With the fact that he got shot by a dart.
Yes, thank you. He's so fast that he can dodge all those missiles, but he can't dodge a sleep dart. That's the first thing I thought of when I looked at this thing.
Yep.
Also, wouldn't they explode when you hit them? Like that?
He's going so fast. He's moving before they explode. This scene is funny. I do like this scene. I think there will be little gems in the movie like this. I do find that funny.
I'm not really sure about that one myself.
And then there's people are losing their mind over that because that actually looks, right.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't I don't question Jim Acting's acting chops at all. But if you give the man a crappy script, because that exchange with the military commander was not a good exchange, that was not well written. Yeah. So I worry about this.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a good movie. And the funny thing is somebody pointed out, it's like, it's a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Why were we expecting it to be good? And we've gotten into this thing where things that just before would have been accepted to be not good have gotten good. So now when something plays to the way things used to be, we're kind of surprised. Whereas before, the fact that the Sonic the Hedgehog movie doesn't look good would not have been surprising to any of us. We still wouldn't have been happy about it, but it wouldn't have been even remotely a surprise.
Let me see if I can jump down and we can burn through the big stories of the last little while.
I think the toaster was last time, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it was.
No? Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't remember.
Somebody was saying that Anthem can't catch a break. Somebody was saying the Labo VR cut of Breath of the Wild is the most barfiest barf simulator of all barf simulators.
So I have a thing on my PC that allowed you to take one of the Legend of Zeldas. It was I think Majora's Mask, or what's the one where the moon crashes into the?
That's Majora's Mask.
Okay, and it converted it to a VR game, and it was great, promising tech, but it was the barfiest of barf. So yeah, I'm sure that the Labo is not much better. Will you please stop scrolling? Whoa, I'm way far behind here. Oh, no, I don't think we had any of this.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so let's start here. Valve is creating a 120 hertz fidelity first VR headset and screwing up the good thing that they've had. The commonality for all devs is that you will code towards the lowest common denominator. And so with the Vive, the reason that it provided a superior experience is because in every box you got a standardized helmet, 2 controllers, 2 base stations, and the experience was the same no matter what. Now they have a new high fidelity VR headset, 2 new controllers that are expensive, and new base stations, and it's all being sold piecemeal, which means that devs are still going to program for the initial Vive offering because it's the lowest common denominator. So I don't know what they're doing, and it's not bad. It's like $1,000, which is pretty much what the original price of the Vive was. But
it's funny to see them and Oculus go in like opposite directions, because now Oculus has the, was it $299 wireless standalone, not standalone, but no, doesn't need a connection to a computer.
Right.
What is it called? I don't even remember what it's called, but it's like, they're going the opposite direction, and then it's, who's going to win out? I think people are going to be way more interested in a $300 price point and no wires than they are, for the most part, over a $1,000 set.
yeah, but that thing's not real yet. Is the problem for the Oculus? Yeah, I mean that's their goal, and if they get to it, great.
Oculus thing is real.
Yeah, I seem to think that it wasn't high fidelity though.
Well, I'm not sure. It's probably not the same tier of via display. Yeah, it's a $300 set,
Yeah.
$299, I think. So, yeah, but I mean, it's real. It's out there.
It's
got stuff on it.
Yeah, sorry, I meant in terms of qualification of. I wouldn't call that a standardized actual VR. That's like an upgrade to a mobile experience.
Yeah.
If you don't have the sensors, there's no way to simulate depth and movement in that field.
It does, though.
Yeah, is that the one with the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to get my hands on one and see it.
I'm intrigued to see how well it works. I mean, from what I've heard, the little bit I've heard on it so far, is it sounds like it works way better than we have any reason to expect it would, but I don't know if that means it's good or not. So.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. So, Anthem's Twitch viewership is under 100 streamers for the game. We'll just touch on the Anthem as we go.
What is that as a metric? What level of metric is that? I mean, I don't follow the streaming culture, as we stream a video onto the internet.
So an average game, so like if I go to Twitch here, and I go to just the main Twitch channel, and I look at the games that are streaming, 133,000 viewers for Overwatch. Okay, if I go to games, I'm gonna say browse,
and that's not any one given. That's across the entire game. So any game
that's actually right now. That is the Overwatch League playing right now.
Oh, Overwatch League. Okay.
Yeah. So here you can see Overwatch overall has 166,000 viewers. GTA 5, 158,000 viewers. Fortnite, 127,000 viewers. So these are arguably the most popular games. A Plague's Tale that just came out this week, 18,000 viewers. Apex Legends, 15,000 viewers. Players Unknown Battlegrounds, 17,000 viewers. So again, these are the most popular games. Anthem.
People watch people play more.
Here you go. Dungeons and Dragons. This is a big thing. We do it on Tuesdays, every other Tuesday. We do a role-playing game here on the show. 4.7 thousand people watching other people play Dungeons and Dragons.
I can't believe more people watch World of Warcraft than watch Smash Brothers. That hurts my brain to consider.
A lot of people are not into fighting games. But when you get down to it, do you see what's missing on this list? I mean,
yeah, we haven't got there yet.
Yeah, I mean, Diablo 2 has 1,000 viewers. Realm Royale, 900 viewers. Divinity Sin, which breaks my heart, 879 viewers. Still almost 1,000 though. And then here comes
Stardew Valley.
Yeah. Team Fortress 2. How old is that game? Guild Wars 2. Hollow Knight. So now we're getting into real niche games like Final Fantasy X2. Life is Suikoden. The original Suikoden has more viewers than Anthem.
Oh man, Fallout 76.
Yeah, Slay the Spire, Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy from 30 plus years ago. Here, let's just do it this way. Anthem. Because I don't want to scroll anymore. Anthem. 154 viewers.
But I mean, some of that's got to be a factor of how many people are streaming too, right? I mean, I'm assuming that's
right. No, you're absolutely right. And what that means is that streamers aren't streaming Anthem anymore.
right.
This is the entire list of people streaming Anthem, and it's small.
Yeah.
Now with that comes consolidation. So like I'm sure Cool Cat Terry, she's got 53 viewers. That's really good for Anthem. Because there's not many people that are live and streaming it on a regular basis anymore. But still, the point is that for a game that was a AAA game that still has ongoing updates to it, to have fallen to the level where there's 157 viewers on any given day and usually sub 100 is bad news for the game.
Right. It's what, 2 months old?
Yeah, 2 months old. It's crazy. Earthworm Jim is coming to the new Intellivision console. What year is it?
I don't know anymore.
Hey, Intellivision is my first console. I'm actually super excited about this thing. We'll see.
I still always assumed it's vaporware.
It very well could be, but we'll see. New Ghost Rider starring the same guy that played Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but not Ghost Rider from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., is coming to Hulu.
Yeah. Which is confusing because they easily could make him the same guy because he got how his story ended.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Pretty much. Epic bought Rocket League developer Psyonix, which that's a pretty major acquisition for that studio, so congratulations to Psyonix. Trying
to figure out whether or not it's going to stay on Steam or not. Obviously, the game's not going to leave Steam, but are they going to stop selling it on Steam?
It might.
It might. I don't think so. I think that would be kind of shooting themselves in the foot on that one. I think.
I just want to know when we're going to have Fortnite Rocket League crossovers.
Oh, it's happened. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already.
Yeah. BioWare specifically stated that their main focus is now Dragon Age 4, which will also be an online persistent world thing, and I'm just like, why do that to yourselves? Why not make the game you know and that fans love and then figure out multiplayer for it? But whatever. Good luck, BioWare. Oh yeah, I should show the Slay the Spire one. Click, click. Clicky click. There we go. Because this game comes out, I think it's actually out now, and you should go buy it.
It's next week, I think.
Oh, is it next week? I thought it was this week.
I thought it was next week.
So it is a procedurally generated dungeon crawling card battler. And you start with the same cards, just generic attacks and blocks at the beginning. And as you go through, you can do events. Winning a round will get you an upgrade to a card. You can get new cards. And then it becomes a how long can you survive in the dungeon kind of thing. Can you clear the whole map? And it's actually a hell of a lot of fun. It is fantastic. And I don't think it's going to be very expensive. I want to say it's 20 or 25. So that's something that I definitely recommend you check out. Whether it's out this week or next week, buy it, support the developer. They're good guys, they're good people. And they've involved the community in the creation of the game, so that's also awesome. So that's Slay the Spire. That's it. Okay, what else in news? Let's see. Razer announced a toaster. I told my wife we weren't buying it. Luckily, she's already got a good toaster, so she's good.
Until she sees it in the store, in which case
yeah,
you'll be...
I'm sure. And since we have the only Razer store in the world, I'm sure she'll see it there and then actually want to buy it. EA Access is coming to PS4 this July, so you'll be able to subscribe to get access to EA games. That's actually surprising to me. I never thought they were going to do it, but I'm thinking that they looked at the numbers of the install base of the PS4 and the penetration rate of the Xbox One and said, if we could have that much on the PS4, we're missing an opportunity even if we do have to pay a third to Sony.
Yeah, and it's probably a good move on Sony's part too to get that relationship going and stuff, because if it's working on PS4, that means most likely it's going to also work on PS5, and they've got to start hedging their bets against the not inevitable but fairly likely chance of a generational flip flop, right?
Yeah.
So
3 Star Wars movies are being released in 2022, which
22, 24, and 26. So they're every other year.
I'm still saying shenanigans. I was lied to. This was supposed to be the end.
No, you were not lied to.
Lied to.
And you skipped. Why did you skip the Ultimate Alliance?
Oh, because it was just saying that Ultimate Alliance is coming. Not much to say other than I'm going to buy it. It'll be my first Switch game in a long time.
Have you watched any of the coverage on Game Informer or not yet?
No, not yet. I haven't seen the darn thing. So I need to go watch that. And then this is the other thing. Anthem. So Anthem put cosmetic caches at the end of their strongholds, which are their like little mini raids. And everybody was very upset because even though they promised cosmetics, the cosmetics that they put in there were not what people were looking for. It wasn't any of the suits of armor or anything. And instead of fixing it, they just took them out.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty then.
Yeah. I mean, they are screwing this up.
Just to follow back in, Slay the Spire is released on this coming Tuesday.
Okay.
Currently on sale, 10% off for $22.49. It'll normally be $24.99.
Worth every penny, in my opinion. Humble opinion. So a senator in Missouri has introduced a ban to build loot boxes and pay-to-win scenarios. This is a nightmare, and I'm sure will be shot down. I'm sure the ESA will lobby against it. While I don't necessarily disagree with the intent of the bill, the crazy, vague wording of pay-to-win is so unenforceable that I'm sure this will never go anywhere.
I'm just glad that we're so void of real and social issues in the world that this is what we can have our government officials spending time focusing on. I'm glad we finally gotten to that point in our evolution.
Not disagreeing with you one iota on that. Marvel has announced a bunch of movie dates with no names, so I'm not going to spend time going over it. But there are movies coming. Surprise.
For the next 4 years. Woohoo!
Yeah, like you didn't know that was going to happen. John Wick Hex has been released as a new action strategy game, which I don't know if you watched the trailer for this, Matt.
I have not, no.
Let me find it here. Yep. Oh, this is IGN, so I don't know if it's actually going to allow me to magnify this, but even if it doesn't, that's all right. Or
Won't let you play it.
It could not let me play it.
The descriptions of it make it sound kind of super hottish because they're talking about it being, super strategic and almost like a chess game. And
I'll try one more time here. There we go.
It is said that combat is like a game of chess.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think that was him, or is that a voice impersonator?
I think that was actually him, because he doesn't sound quite right in the movies either. So
Really?
I think
Okay. Maybe, yeah. So this is not like a news thing, but I thought it was an amazing thing, so I wanted to post it. The creator of Cyberpunk 2020, which is the legendary tabletop role-playing game, actually said that 2077 is set in the same universe and will be story canonical true. And will be set after 2020. Talk about getting the blessing of the creator. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Even more excited for it now. Yeah, you were right about that all access thing. It's outside the United States.
Yeah, and did you see they've officially announced the title of the show now too?
No. What is it?
It's Star Trek : Picard.
Okay, well, come on now.
With the Starfleet logo as the A in Picard.
Oh, okay. The Division 2 is about to launch its first raid on Thursday, and the developers came out at the end of last week and said, oh, by the way, you know how we said we're going to have matchmaking for everything in the game? We're not going to have matchmaking for this. So this is an 8-person raid that you will need to coordinate times and stuff to get them in there. And people are crying foul because the advertising for the game said right up front, we will have matchmaking for everything you want to do in the game. And I get that part, but the dev said, you know, the more we thought about this, we thought it would be not fun to get put in with a bunch of people that you don't know that aren't talking and have a bad experience with the raid. And I don't disagree with that, but let your community suss that out by including the feature rather than taking the choice away from them. If I play around with 6 other randos or 7 other randos and it's horrific, then I can choose not to use that feature. But if you don't include the feature, then I can't choose anything. So I think this is a bad choice on their behalf.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people who just aren't going to be able to do it, right? There are some people who just aren't going to be able to get a group together, and the only choice they're going to have is to try to match up with people. So, I mean, I'm sure people do this in other. I'm sure there will be Discord servers and this and that and the other thing for people to do it on their own to meet up with people. But why, if that was already in the development plan, this smells like a cover up. Like they just couldn't get it working right. So rather than, you know, put it half butt out there, you know, they came up with what's a reasonable explanation for the fact that what really happened is they couldn't get it working right.
Something, because it makes no sense to me whatsoever. So I might even believe a conspiracy theory there of some kind. The Switch has outsold the PS4 in Japan, even though it launched 3 years later. It's now sold over 8 million units in Japan. But to put that in perspective, that's less than 10% of all PS4s in the wild.
The last number was like 96 million, wasn't it?
Yep. So if you look at it that way, this is probably fine.
And it's Japan. I mean, this is basically a Game Boy, right? I mean, that's the numbers it's selling at.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. The all-digital Xbox One S, which I have been lamenting for months on this show, finally launched. And 1 month later, the disk drive-based systems are still selling for less than the actual diskless drive. It was supposed to be the cheap boy on the market, and I said if you wanted to do this, set it up so that it's $20 a month, or give it away for free and require them to buy Xbox Live and Xbox games with gold, and make the money off the fact that they're spending money on your ecosystem. But instead, they released it at this $250 price point, and Walmart has a drive, a game, a 1 terabyte drive Xbox One with Minecraft and DLC for $215. It's like, I don't know what they're thinking over there.
No, they're.
Wizards Unite gets a new trailer. Let's see if we can watch this one. If you're not familiar with Wizards Unite, this is the Harry Potter Pokemon Go style game. They released a little bit more information about it today.
That was loud.
It was very loud, and I don't even know that I'm hearing the right things, but we'll see.
Yeah. That was the Harry Potter theme song.
Well, it was, but then it was like mashed up with this, and I don't know. I don't know what's real, Harry.
Calling all wizards. This is your ministry. Our wizarding community is at risk of exposure. Trace.
Rabbit's doing the deal, doing the job. It's being pinned, staring up at the lights tonight. Doesn't wanna work.
So, long story short, magic is loose, and you got to go put it back in its box.
Yep. And you're a wizard, and you gotta. They said words about it. I'm trying to think what they said. They're called foundables.
It sounds like your mom hid your Lunchable from you.
Yep. I'm not making that up. I swear to God, that's what it's called. Strange phenomenon. You're a part of a secret task force, and you need to contain them before they can be. Yeah, here you go.
Yep, right there. Foundables.
They'll be known as foundables, and each of these is trapped by confoundable magic, and you'll need to dispel the confoundable in order to get to the foundable.
Unobtainium.
Yeah. So, I'm still really excited. I'm kind of upset because pre-registration is open now on Google Play. That tells me it's coming to Android first. Not happy about that decision. Just saying. I am very interested to see whether or not they will do an Apple Watch thing, though, since there is a Pokemon Go Apple Watch app, and it is Niantic that is creating this. I will be very interested to see if they do a Harry Potter Apple Watch app.
So do you think they'll have learned from Pokemon Go, and will this be a more full thing going forward, or are they going to just do the same thing because it worked?
No, I think there was some stuff in here that my wife will be super excited to like. It says, unlike Pokemon Go, however, Wizards Unite places a greater emphasis on RPG elements. You'll brew potions using different ingredients you've collected and level up lengthy skill trees, swapping between different professions. So I'm actually excited about that. And we just started a brand new fitness regimen / diet type thing. So the fact that San Francisco is probably one of the premier beta testing grounds for Niantic. There's a Pokestop every 5 feet.
4 feet, yeah.
Yeah, it's insanity, especially down in the financial district. I can't wait for this because, whatever it is we're going to want to chase out, we should be able to do here. So, it'll be very interesting. I've got my mobile streaming up and running, and I will probably do some test streams as the game launches, just as, as we're out and about using the AR camera so that people can view people playing the game in the wild and make a determination if it's something they might like to play. So, yeah. What other news did I, big super important news did I miss here, Matt, as I'm pulling it up?
Oh gosh, it's been a weird couple of days. Hasn't been a lot of super interesting stuff.
It's been quite frankly dead in the news front for about the last week.
Yeah.
other than the state of play stuff.
The last episode of Game of Thrones is this week.
All right. Well, then in that case, let us do the bit where we thank our subscribers.
Sorry, I'm not for me yet because I haven't been able to get myself to convince that I really want to care about this. But Rick and Morty season 4 is dropping in November.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Have you watched it yet?
I watched the first episode and the whole
listen, man.
rickandmorty.net.com blah, 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 at the end just killed all the motivation that I had to watch.
Listen, man. If there has ever been a animated thing that was written for the darkness in your soul, it is this show. I hated the concept of Rick and Morty. And the periphery stuff I had seen, even the first couple episodes, I was not sold. But man, it's kind of like Dollhouse. There's that point that it just all clicks, and you're like, oh no, that can't be what they mean, and then it is what they mean, and it's horrible. I mean, like you really need to watch the first season. If you make it through the first season and say, okay, there's nothing redeeming here. Fine, no problem. But I'm telling you, you will not say that. You'll be like, oh. And if you make it to the end of second season, you're going to be like, holy crap, this is my soul on television in animated form. I'm telling you. It's super good.
Okay. Yes, I will make an effort for that. What is it on Hulu? Is that where it's all on? Or
that
it's not on Netflix, is it?
Great question. I have no idea.
I'll figure it out.
Swim, I think.
Right, but
well, I'm trying to think what conglomeration that is.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Another thing that I don't think either of us really was tracking on, but they're actually officially releasing World of Warcraft Vanilla, calling it World of Warcraft Classic. That'll come out on the 27th of August.
One of the IGN guys or ex-IGN guys, I can't remember, tweeted, I'm pretty sure it was Justin Davis, tweeted my exact thoughts, is that people think they want this, and then once they get it, they're not going to be happy with what they got.
This isn't the way it was it? I don't. This was
yeah, it was crappy, and you're not going to be happy. So yeah, I can't wait to see this thing launch. I want to see how well it does. I want to see numbers and all that good stuff.
Netflix is not renewing its streaming deal with the CW.
Yes, that's because everything is going to go to the DC.
To the DC, which means I need to catch up like now. Which I won't probably, but
well, so I don't know. Like Flash is not done yet, right? I think it is.
I am so far out of it. I don't even know how many seasons behind I am anymore.
Oh, okay. I think this current season still goes up to Netflix when it's done. If not, that's okay because I have the DC streaming service now. I broke down.
I don't.
Bought it.
So it'll be one less thing for me to have to worry about catching up on.
Yeah. Except it's the Flash, and it's great.
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying that will box it off for me.
Got it. So that brings us to the point of the show where we like to thank each and every one of the folks that support us. So first off, thank you, Justin, times like 7. You're a madman. We appreciate you. Thank you, Regina. Thank you, Naomi. Thank you, John, June, Eric, Lexi, Patrick, Dave, Kevin, John, Nashok, William, Peter, John, Vekarad, Colleen, Tracy, Michael, Dave, Nick, Arturo, and Matt. So thank you to all of our patrons and subscribers. Remember, if you'd like to support us, you can do so by clicking the old subscribe button there on Twitch. And if you are a Amazon Prime member, you have access to Twitch Prime for free, and you can subscribe for free. Well, just go to twitchprime.com and link your accounts. Come back to Gamersledge and click subscribe for free. You have to do that every 30 days. They don't let you do it forever, but you can just click every 30 days, and that supports the show. Or you can head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Gamersledge, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get your name on every show that we do, just like all the folks I mentioned who will have their name at the end of the show. And what does that money get used for? The answer is paying for comics for Matt to read, or for video games for people to review and take a look at, all that good stuff. So we appreciate your support very much for cameras and all that expensive type of equipment, for fancy VR green screen things that make the side of my head fuzzy, but still do the good job of making me look like I'm in some kind of professional newscasting studio instead of my apartment front room. That's going to bring us to final thoughts for the week. Matt, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Wow, I kind of blew all my final thoughts earlier in the show. I don't know. Mitchell, who's been on the show, he's in the throes of finals week, so I didn't even ask him to come on tonight because throes of final week. But he is graduating with an associate's degree, general studies associates, on Friday. So that's a big deal for him. He will be going to another school for carrying on to try to get a bachelor's.
Nice.
I always get the name of the major wrong, so I'm not even going to say it. So that's a good big deal for him and for us, and so that's a good thing going on. And Keegan graduates high school in a couple of weeks, so
well, congratulate Mitchell for us, please.
We'll do,
because I probably won't see him before that happens or talk to him before that happens.
Yeah, better not, because he's working on his projects and his final stuff. Yeah. So if you do see him, let me know, because I can go kick his butt.
I will let you know. My final thought, I've got two of them, and it's reiterating. By the way, I shouldn't have to, but I will disclaim that I am in no way affiliated with either the maker of these two games. I do not receive a cutback or a kickback or any kind of promotional consideration for promoting them, other than the fact they're great indie games that probably aren't going to get as much love as they should now that they're on all the major consoles, and that is For the King and Slay the Spire. Those two games are both great, and they are not stupid expensive. They're, I think, $20 and $24. $20
and $25, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like we're talking tons and tons of money. There's not a bunch of DLC to download. There's no pay-to-win functions. It is all just good fun that's self-contained, and I can't recommend it enough. So, For the King and Slay the Spire, go check those out if you have not already. And that is going to bring us to me dropping everything out of my wallet, which was not what I was planning there, but give me 1 second.
Sounded like you kicked your mic across the room, but
Yeah, it was all of my credit cards and everything, all the contents of my wallet falling directly onto my microphone.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not so much. Because now it looks like my wallet exploded on here. Let me grab all this stuff real quick. So that's going to bring us to the end of the show, where we leave you with a wise kernel of wisdom to tide you through until next we meet again.
I haven't missed these.
I think you'll like this one.
Okay.
All right. So, hey, Matt.
Hey.
What's a duck's favorite drug?
I'm just going to bite. I don't know. What is a duck's favorite drug?
Quack. Until next time, game on.
Game on. It's not your worst.
quack.